Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I mentioned to you guys in the previous video that I would do a little sit down talking to you guys about one of the books that have led me to my church, renewed my faith with God, and made me return to Him. So I did read 3 books during the process of me getting back to God, but this one I think was the most significant because I feel like God used what He knows that I love the most and I long for the most to return me to Him. So the book that I'm talking about is called Single, Dating, Engaged, Married by Ben Stewart. I always get the title so wrong. It's basically like a little book that's meant to help young adults or just people in general, I feel like, navigate through love and life in the modern age. So I came across this book in a really weird way. I told you guys about this in the previous video, which if you haven't watched, I have linked it down in the description. So I came across the book when I clicked on Sadie Robertson and Christian Huff's wedding video, and then I clicked on Sadie's channel, clicked on their story of how they met, and they referenced this book a lot. They said that it really guided their relationship and helped them really figure out if they were the right people for each other. So this book touched me so much, and when I say that it literally led me to my church, I mean it. I found my church. I'm so happy. I love the sermons. I love Pastor Ben. I love it so much, and it's so important in my becoming that I felt like I really needed to share it. And also I understand that not everybody likes to read. Like me, I'm a total bookworm. So I thought that it would be fun to sit down and tell you guys 29 things that I learned from Single, Dating, Engaged, Married by Ben Stewart. So the first thing that I learned from this book is we must get a relationship right with God first before we can get a relationship with a girl or a guy right. I mean, how crazy is that? That is so significant. To me, it translated as I need to know what love is, and I need to have a source of love that will never go away, and I need to know what love looks like for me to be able to love somebody else. And I feel like my relationship with God will have such a huge impact on my relationship with somebody else. I feel like God is our source of love, our source of strength, our source of just everything of life. How could I possibly give somebody love if I don't have a source of love that will never go away? You know what I mean? I feel like it's so important to have a proper relationship with Him because He will guide me through my marriage or in any relationship that I get into. And His example of love will really help me understand and teach me how to love my spouse. And I feel like that's just like, it's kind of given, but I never really thought of it that way. So yeah, that was so wild to me, and it's one of the things that after I read this book, and for a really long time I've been striving for before getting into a relationship, and I just want to get my relationship with God right before He brings me my beautiful husband. The second thing that I learned from Single, Dating, Engaged, Married is what love is. Because I feel like I had a little bit of like, I could grasp like what love is, but I think through the book and the references that were used, I kind of have a better understanding of what love is, and I kind of understand why now it is said that God is love, because He sacrificed for us. I mean, who do you know who would literally send His only Son, whose son could be living an amazing life, and comes down and dies for people's sins who aren't even born yet? I mean, there is no other sacrifice ever that could be bigger than that. I mean, that is love, to sacrifice everything that you love for someone who doesn't even know you yet. You know what I mean? That's just so beautiful. I think anything for me that ever teaches me more about God and like teaches me more about His love, I'm just like so into it. So that was one of the biggest things for me in this book. The third thing that I learned from this book was not one of the things that like I was most excited about, but it taught me why singleness is important. I don't know about you, but I felt like singleness was is a waste of time. Like I've always felt like, okay, I'm gonna get out of high school, and I feel like it would be fun for God to kind of just let you know that like this is your husband. You know what I mean? For like my husband out there to be like, Noluthando Maslangi, just find her. That is your wife. You know what I mean? I always felt like I just wanted life to go like that because I was just sick of being single and like feeling lonely. But through this book, I learned that singleness is meant for us to pursue God, to know who He is before we get into a relationship with somebody else. That's why it's important, because the most important thing in our lives is God, and it should be God, and He knows our hearts. I'm pretty sure God, I mean, He created me. I'm pretty sure He knows that like I really love. He knows that and He cares about that. But He has made the season for me, for you, for everybody of singleness to learn about Him, to learn what love is, to find our passions under Him, to find what we were created for, what our purpose is under Him, and to learn ourselves also in Him. You know what I mean? To know who you are and to find your passion and to chase Him, just like run after Him every single day. And I think after reading this book, I have been a happy single. People always ask me, why are you single? There are so many guys, I'm pretty sure, that have been asking me out, and there have been people asking me out, but I feel like my relationship with God is still very fragile. I cannot afford to put somebody else in the mix and to put my attention on somebody else. I need to focus on God right now. That's what's important to me. That's a relationship that's important to me. And I think I'm happy in my singleness because I know that He loves me so much that He has somebody out there for me. But right now, I just need to focus on Him and kind of just throw myself in His arms. The next thing that I learned from this book is something that I think we all do, which is really bad. We should stop doing it. We downplay the benefits and like all the fun things of our current season and look forward to and amplify like all the benefits of another season. So for example, I'm single right now and I'm downplaying, well, I used to, not anymore, but we all have a tendency of downplaying like the benefits that we have now. Like when you're single, you can pretty much fly across the world and come back without like thinking about anybody, or like thinking like, what's this person gonna say, or like having to not report to anybody but let them know that this is where I'm going. The best example for this for me was when I was younger. I was like, I cannot wait to be 21. Now that I'm 21, I'm like, I cannot wait to be 30. You know what I mean? And I'm not actually realizing that this is what I was saying that I can't wait for. I'm here, I'm 21, I should enjoy it. So I think we are single, we are flourishing, we are happy, we're pursuing God, He loves us. Let's just enjoy that for now. And when marriage comes, it'll have some pretty amazing benefits too. But until it comes, focus on where you're at and what you can do and like all the freedom that you have right now. The fifth thing that I learned from the book is that it is okay to long for a relationship. Oh my gosh, this is gold. This book is gold. Can everybody just go read it? So many things that I think in pop culture and on Instagram and on social media kind of make you feel like because you're longing for a relationship, you feel like something is wrong with you. And it's never been that for me. I think every human longs to be loved. Every human wants to be, you know, just like feel that gushy feeling. You guys, there's nothing that is more exciting than love, if I'm being honest. Like, I miss being in love, you know, I long for it. That's something that I want. And I'm not gonna like go out there or like say that independent, you know what I mean? I don't need a man. I also have been to a point where I was like, I don't need a boyfriend, I don't need a man. Love sucks. I'm going to live my life by myself, you know what I mean? I'm gonna have a baby through like, I don't know, surrogacy or something, but like I'm gonna be a single mom and I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna do this life thing alone. And I feel like that is not true. I want to be loved. I want to love somebody. I shouldn't feel ashamed for wanting to be in love, or I shouldn't downplay it. I should actually embrace it and have peace in knowing that God knows that, and He is bringing me the love that I want and that I need. The sixth thing that I learned from reading this book is I cannot and will not get into a relationship until I know that my relationship with God is secure. And I know that my chase or my walk with God, it will never really end, you know what I mean? But for myself, I have told myself this, and I continue to tell myself this: I will not get into a relationship until loving God and my relationship with Him and my daily time with Him is like breathing. It is easy as breathing. That I'm not gonna do it. I've said this before to people who ask me why I'm single, and I always say that I'm working on my relationship with God. And somebody did say to me, you work on your relationship with God for the rest of your life. And I get that, but I want my relationship with Him to be so easy, and I don't want it to be I need to speak to God. I want it to be more of I want to speak to God, and I cannot function without Him. You know what I mean? That's the level that I want to get to before I can find myself looking for a spouse, or at least get as close to God as I can before I find love. I also learned from this book what I'm meant to be doing while I'm single. So I find that a lot of us, including myself, when we're single, we kind of focus so much on ourselves, which is amazing. I mean, we should all take some time to focus on growing as individuals, growing in our careers, growing physically, mentally, and just taking care of ourselves. But I also realize that life in its essence isn't about career. It isn't about how your body looks. It isn't about killing it at everything. You know what I mean? Although that is amazing, and I feel like we should all strive to be our best in everything that we do. But I think I learned that while I'm single, I need to secure my relationship with God the Most High. You know what I mean? I feel like I never knew what to do while I was single. I was like, okay, I'm single. What now? Do I just sit around and wait for this gorgeous boy that is coming my way, or like what do I do? So now I know that, you know, my being single for me personally is about just trying to figure out who I am, trying to figure out who I am under God, and becoming the best version of myself, so that, you know, I'm just happier in life, and also just to pursue God with like all my might and all that I have, and also bring Him into my career and bring Him into my daily life, and, you know, bring Him under and into everything that I am. I don't want to say the most important thing that I learned from this book, but the most important thing that I learned from this book is dating is a process of evaluating. Can we just keep saying that? Can I just put it on the wall there? Dating is a process of evaluation. It's not something that you sit in for years and years and years. It's not something where when you see something that you don't like or you could never put up with, you're just like, we're dating, we've been together for 10 years. That's not what it's about. It says that dating is about evaluating if this is the person that I want to run towards God with for the rest of my life. Do you get that? For the rest of your life. I feel like I find that with myself, I've always in the past maybe also dated because I kind of just wanted to make the time kind of like move, you know what I mean? I dated because I was bored. I dated because, you know, for multiple reasons, but I learned that dating is an evaluating process. If you don't like something, or if somebody does not have the characteristics, and not physically, but also mentally, if they are not the right fit, then move on. The evaluation process is over. Let us move on with our lives. Go and find your spouse, and I'll find mine. No bad blood. You're just not the one for me. You know what I mean? I think that's why, in my opinion, we find that marriages are like breaking up, because during your evaluation process, you saw something that you didn't like, and you're like, oh, we've been together for 10 years and he just proposed, and you know what I mean? And then in the marriage, that little problem that you saw and could have like moved away from or could have worked through it is now this huge thing, and now, you know, your life is just a mess and your marriage is just a mess. So I think that it's really important to use dating as an evaluation process, and it's not something you sit in for years and years. I love how Ben Stewart says it. He says that you need to date for as long as you need to, but not for longer than you have to. You get me? So you need to date a person for as long as you feel like you need more information about this person. But when you have all that information and you've made up your mind and be like, this is someone that I can see myself spending the rest of my life with, then take that next step. If not, then if you already seen that this is not someone that I can spend the rest of my life with, then why are you still wasting your time? Why are you still wasting your time? And you can say that I'm not wasting my time, I'm just, you know, making time go by. Well, you're wasting their time, and that's just not nice. And we are nice people on this channel. The next thing that I learned from this book is it was like a slap in the face for me. It is, I actually do not know what I want in a spouse, if I'm being honest, because I've always gone into like my little single periods, like between dating, I've always been like, I want a guy who is this tall, who dresses this nice, with nice teeth, who does this and that and that and that. And I always ended up liking somebody who was the complete opposite. Like, people who know me, look at my past. They are the complete opposite of everything that like I say that I want, you know what I mean? So I learned that I actually do not know what I want, or I didn't learn it. It actually came to light that I actually do not know what I want. So I'm just gonna leave it in God's hands, because every time I write down like, this is what I want him to have a good smile, must be able to make me laugh, but he must also be tall. That is a product, and that's what the book is saying. We're not looking for a product, we're looking for a person. You also are not a product. I'm not a product. I think it's really important to just know that sometimes we do not know what we want. God knows what we want. Like, through all the nonsense that we say we want, God can see in the core what we need and what we truly want. This I feel like I'm gonna say that everything that I'm saying is the most important part, but I love this so much. The book says that find somebody who is running at your pace. I cannot stress this enough. My fear as like a newly Christian little baby, I've always been like 100%, I'm like, I want somebody who loves God, but I've always been so scared to like find a church boy, because I feel like that church boy just knows more like than me when it comes to God. And like, I don't want to feel small under God. I want to feel like, you know, we're running at the same pace. You know what I mean? I want to come home and be like, oh my gosh, you will not believe like what I read, or like the sermon that I was listening to in the car. Like, I loved it so much. Did you know God also does this, this, this? You know what I mean? And the story just changed me so much. I don't want someone who's gonna sit there and be like, yeah, like I read that 10 years ago. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? So I think I found out through this book that I need to find, or I feel like we all need to find somebody who's running at the same pace. I myself don't want to drag somebody and be like, yo, like read the Bible, like, yo, like, and you don't want somebody who's gonna drag you. I don't want somebody who's gonna drag me in my faith and make me feel small under God. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone who is running at the same pace as I am. That is so important. One of, I think, the most significant things that I've learned from this book, it referenced quite a lot of Bible verses, and I loved it for that, because I could go there and just like check and be like, oh, that's what God means. So number 11 is, I learned what do not be unequally yoked with non-believers, which is 2 Corinthians 6 verse 14. So I learned what that means, because I've always grown up kind of thinking that that means that I cannot talk to somebody who does not believe that God is their light and their savior and like their everything. You know what I mean? I grew up thinking that I cannot be friends with someone like that. I cannot be neighbors with someone like that. I cannot just look at somebody like we are we cannot even be close. Like, I cannot sit next to you in the taxi. I have to be like, yo, you Christian, you know what I mean? But no, that's actually not what it means. And I like this explanation better. In the most important relationship of your life, which is becoming one with somebody, you do not want someone who does not believe in the same thing as you do, who does not believe that Jesus is Lord like you do. You know what I mean? You have to be on the same page with that. And you guys, please go read this book. It's amazing. But you cannot, in the bigger things in life, you cannot choose somebody who is running in opposite direction. We both need to be running towards the same thing. That is so... Can you go read this book? Like right now. The 12th thing that I have learned from this book is do not settle. And I feel like we say this all the time, but we end up settling. And I think for me, it kind of came across as I cannot settle, especially with the God thing. You guys, I think I've spoken to you guys about a boy that I really liked, and we got on really good. Like, I was like, this is it. He's really cute. He's got a good smile too. Thank you, God. I was like, this is my husband. But when it came to religion and the bigger things in life, we were on two different paths. You know what I mean? And a huge part of me was like, we'll kind of figure that out later. You know what I mean? And I always felt like I could change him. You know what I mean? I could pull him onto the Christian boat and show him how much God loves him and show him my faith. You know what I mean? And that would not be fair to him, and that would not be me being a good person. So I decided that I cannot settle. I respect where he's at in his life. I respect his faith. I respect his choices, but I need to respect myself. I need to respect my faith. I need to respect my choices. So I couldn't settle. You know what I mean? I feel like I learned from reading this that I cannot settle, guys. Sorry, I can't settle, especially with something that is so important to me. I need to find someone who is as passionate about God as I am, who is continuously seeking him. It's something that I cannot settle for less. I'm not settling. The 13th thing, is that how you say it? The 13th thing that I've learned from this book is believing in God and pursuing God are two different things. And I want the pursuer. I do not want somebody who just believes in God, because we can all just say, and I know people who are just like, Christian, I'm Christian, but their lives say something completely different. So I think as a Christian girl, it was good to know that, okay, there are people that you are going to meet who, just because they say they believe in God, doesn't mean you need to jump in head first and be like, dun, 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 dun. You know what I mean? Just because they say they believe in God, I need to sit back. I need to watch their lives. Is God working in their lives? Are they pursuing God? Do they want to please God in everything that they do? Just stuff like that. I cannot just take somebody who says yeah, I go to church, I believe in God, my mom and dad are both Christian, I grew up in a Christian home, you know what I mean? Yeah, I read the whole Bible. That's not what it's about. Are you actively pursuing him? And are you keeping him in every part of your life? Or just trying to do better under him? I was so excited when I got to this point in the book, because finally I found a source that was telling me that it is okay to want a man who is sexually just put together before I meet him. You know what I mean? With being celibate, and I have been now for almost a year. Yay! Even though there were a lot of temptations, but I have been celibate for a little bit now, and I'm having so much fun. And one of the thoughts that always came into mind were, so am I gonna meet someone, and is he just gonna be like, I love you so much that I don't mind waiting until marriage? You know what I mean? I've always worried about that. How do I go about it? Like, what am I gonna do? So in the book, there was a part where it was saying that you kind of want somebody who is sexually under control or has their sexual, you know, desires under control before they meet you. You know what I mean? I don't want somebody who's going to say that I'm not having sex for you because I love you so much. I want them to do it for themselves. I'm not doing this or pursuing my sexual desires right now because of you. I'm doing it because of me, because I want to be a better person, because I want to be a better person under God. I want to understand him more. I want to hear him more. I want to see him move in my life more. And that was just such a relief for me, because I was like, what am I gonna do? Are there even celibate boys out here? It's good to know that, you know, I'm pretty sure God is working in some boy's heart out there, and that's what I want. And I've always, with that part, I thought that I had to settle, but it's good to know all the information in this book because it helped me realize that nope, I do not have to settle. I don't want somebody who's gonna be like, I'm gonna quit it because I love you so much. Nope. You gotta love yourself enough to have done that. You know what I mean? The 15th thing that I learned from this book is not to rush. I've always rushed into relationships in a way. I just feel like, oh, this is it. I found him. I don't know how many times I thought I found my husband. Like, can I even trust my feelings anymore? Yeah, there's been so many times where I was like, I found the one. Everybody celebration, but come on. I feel like there's no rush. I've always been just like rushing sometimes. Just find the one, to just be, you know, cuddled up on the couch with somebody and like have somebody drive for me. Like, that is like somebody like I can't even. But like, have somebody be like, you know, like, I'll drive to the grocery store and you'll drive back. Like, I want stuff like that, like cute stuff like that, you know what I mean? And I've always like rushed for those kind of things. I think I learned from the book that I need to sit back sometimes and really watch the person, even though I feel like I have found like the right person, the one, he is amazing. I can't just like jump right in and like, let's get married tomorrow, let's get engaged, you know what I mean? Because I need to watch their life over a period of time and see them in as many seasons as I can, or as many situations as I can, where I can decide that, yeah, this is it. You will see like somebody's heart in their deeds over time. Some people you'll see it in the beginning, some people you'll see it over time, but at the end of the day, what is in the dark will come to the light. So I know that I said this is 29 things that I learned from Single, Dating, Engaged, Married by Ben Stewart, and it still is, but this video is running a little long, so I'm going to do a little part 2 with all the other things that I feel like really stood out to me in the book that I want to share with you guys. So I hope you enjoyed watching this part 1. If you did, please give it a like, and if you wish to see more of me, you can totally follow me at Noluthando 29 on Instagram, and subscribe so I see you in part 2 and in my vlogs every single Friday at 12 p.m. I love you so much for watching. Please go pick up the book. It is amazing. It changed my life. I just hope you guys enjoy it as much as I did. I love you very much, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.